Down the stretch in the fourth quarter of this Pacers game one win over the Cavs were testing Tyrese Haliburton on switches, and he was holding up, walling up Ty Jerome right there. But we can't start here. We have to start earlier in the game. The first offensive possession, honestly, when one of my keys for the Pacers was going to be these Cavs inverted ball screens. You have Sam Merrill setting the screen for the big man, Mobley. Really hard action to guard, and we see them get a good look out of it early. The Pacers don't like to switch, right? And Haliburton's going to stunt and recover. Mobley's going to wall up and end up scoring over Pascal Siakam. But the Pacers gave up some good looks, and Haliburton didn't have his most incredible defensive half, despite a really good overall defensive impact on the game. And we're just going to break Haliburton's game down, especially what he did in the fourth quarter. So leave a like, comment, and subscribe. The Cavs missed a lot of open looks, and this is what they're going to do with these guard screens. They don't really want to just concede this switch because Haliburton's not a strong point of attack defender, and they want to keep their best perimeter defender, Nembhard, on Mitchell. So what they're going to do is they have Haliburton like hedge, shade out, which supposedly gives Nembhard time to recover, and then Haliburton to get back to Merrill. That obviously doesn't happen here as Merrill gets a wide open three that the Pacers are fortunate they missed. And the Pacers were very fortunate on a lot of occasions. Again, we can see a miscommunication leading to a pretty wide open three from Max Strus in the second quarter. This one ends up going in. Again, they want to show two bodies at the ball handler, at Ty Jerome here. But that leaves this incredible, just giant space right here, making it really hard to defend this Strus pick and pop. Haliburton's not able to get into the play. The Cavs get a three, and then another play here in the second quarter where we can see their unwillingness to switch, allowing another three. Now, Jarris Walker does a good job stunting here, at least to make Strus think, but Strus is a confident shooter. That shot doesn't end up falling. Again, we see early offense. Shepherd doesn't want to leave because the assignment isn't to switch. The Pacers don't like to switch, but Haliburton's not getting back nearly quick enough. So Strus ends up getting a wide open three at the top of the key and doesn't end up scoring. But the Pacers adjusted in the second half and decided to kind of go against their identity and switch. So they switch Haliburton on Donovan Mitchell, and Mitchell ends up passing out and they missed three, but we see Haliburton do a solid job containing this drive, right? He allows Mitchell to get into the paint because he's Donovan fucking Mitchell, and not even Andrew Nembhard or Aaron Nesmith can consistently keep him out of the paint. Donovan Mitchell is just a phenomenal player. Who would have blocked by Aaron Nesmith? I love that guy. And again, we see the benefits of this Pacers switching defense, not only for the Haliburton matchup, but just taking away the off-ball screens. And even though the Pacers got very lucky with shooting variance, I do think they did a good job, especially in the second half, right? They're going to switch this flare screen so they just have Pascal go and take Strus, and then they have Nembhard switching onto Allen, which, could be a problem, right? But Allen's not a great post-up switch big, and they get a good contest out there. Mobley grabs the rebound. But late into this third quarter, we really saw Haliburton begin to cook on defense, and it was not Ty Jerome's finest game. Great D by Haliburton here, fighting over the screen, staying attached. He's going to get back in front, right, to get rid of that jail advantage. Ty Jerome loves to do his slow drives, knock guys off balance, Euro step around them, but Haliburton really wasn't letting that happen, and he was pretty disciplined. He had one foul on a three against Mitchell, but again, we see the value of the switching, where instead of having Mathurin chase hard over, Mathurin sticks in Dean Wade's region as to not give up that wide open three, and Mitchell takes a tough step back, which is, of course, a shot he can make. He's Donovan Mitchell. And now we return to the fourth quarter where Haliburton is able to get a big stop on Ty Jerome right there. They trusted him, and he played some of the best on-ball defense of his career, probably, late in this fourth quarter. Switching on to Donovan Mitchell here, just absolutely locking him up and forcing him into a really tough shot. This is Donovan Mitchell we're talking about, and Haliburton gets in a stance, as we can see earlier in the clip. They switched Haliburton onto Mitchell with this little ghost screen, or I guess it was the other way, for Strus. And yeah, Haliburton sitting down, not biting on the fakes, moving his feet. Great dig by Pascal here. This is a good place for Pascal to be. With Mobley in the corner, you can kind of afford to stunt and recover just because Mobley has a slower release, even though he is shooting the ball efficiently in the playoffs so far. And Yeah, that was a makeable shot for Donovan, but not an easy one by any means. And Halliburton's going to get one more block here. He was just baiting Jerome into these D-cells and backing away and just timing up his contests and blocks right there really well. Maybe, he's fouling, but it didn't get called. And then we're going to see Haliburton here sprint out and block a three just to put an exclamation point on this game and on the defensive performance he had. He's been impressive on defense throughout the playoffs, in my opinion, especially by his standard. And he was important to the Pacers' victory in Game 1 on the defensive end. He adjusted in the second half when the Pacers needed him to adjust, and he stepped up and made some big plays, even if he did get blown by at times. And offensively, he took over in the fourth quarter as well. Haliburton pushing the pace. I think he had an efficient 9 and 3 in the fourth quarter with a decent chunk of his points overall. Haliburton was incredible on the game, and a lot of it is because he was aggressive as a scorer. He was looking for his own shot. He was driving hard to the rim. He was looking for his shots at threes. And the Pacers took advantage of Cleveland switching. Unlike the Pacers, the Cavs love to switch. They have no problems switching whoever they want out. And Jarrett Allen was a target of their switches. We can see that they don't want to send any help. They run this flat spacing, right? All this area. There's no nail defenders to dig in and bother Haliburton's handle because he's not the best handler in the world, right? And it might be annoying if DeAndre Hunter could stick his arm in from right here, or Max Strus could stick his arm in from right here, or whatever. But Haliburton gets the step back, and yeah, I think Cleveland probably should play the double big lineup less because of how comfortable the Pacers were at just switching and targeting Jarrett Allen. And something the Pacers are always great at, largely because of Haliburton, is hitting these early offense switches in the post where Toppin's going to seal off Donovan Mitchell, and Haliburton, once he identifies this, knows exactly where the ball's going. The placement of the pass is perfect. It's just something the Pacers are really great at. And of course it helps to have Nembhard as a running mate, right? When you stall out, you can just have Andrew Nembhard, who is consistently hitting ridiculously big, clutch, timely shots in the playoffs. I mean, just an awesome playoff riser. And this was a pass that I feel like got underrated on the broadcast. They didn't even discuss this pass where they're not switching here, right? Just over and drop. Haliburton does his trademark midair pass, and it looks like he's passing to Turner, right? His eyes are pretty much pointing this way. This looks like one of his classic hook passes back. That's where Mobley anticipates it to go. But Mobley is such an incredible weak side defender with long arms and great instincts that it's hard to fool him. But Tyrese Haliburton just did that right there, and unfortunately Toppin couldn't capitalize with it, and then Turner turned the ball over. But incredible pass by Haliburton in a game where he had so many awesome passes. And as always, this is the danger with Tyrese Haliburton, as he punishes any gap the defense is going to give you right here. Haliburton has they screen the Cavs extended the pressure up to half court. Turner sets the screen at half court, and they can see the switch right here. As we talked about, the Pacers are great at just diving their bigs to the basket, clearing space out, and passing the ball in. Hunter is going to clog this nail, and the second Hunter, most players just don't throw this pass at that timing, but he realizes that there is a gap created by just Cleveland's help and what they wanted to do on that play, and Hunter just does not get out on Nembhard nearly quick enough. I don't love these contested step backs. Haliburton can make them, and I guess that's honestly pretty open, but he could just get better shots against Allen, in my opinion. That I'd rather him continue to be aggressive as a driver, take it to the basket. Great job pushing in transition, even though this got called, a charge. I think Haliburton did a great job creating that play. And then Haliburton again switched on to Jarrett Allen. He's going to step through and finish. What a beautiful play. Haliburton problem solving without the traditional crazy burst or explosion or flexible handling, but great defense by Allen. Steps through, hook off or scoop off the glass. Just a ridiculous play by Tyrese Haliburton. And, I had to throw a low light in here, him getting plucked by Ty Jerome, but at this point the game was all but over, and Haliburton was, of course, a big part of it. Cavs really missed Darius Garland in this one, and I think they'll probably still be fine in the series. Bouncing back, shooting variants, adjusting some of the lineups, playing more of Wade and Hunter, I think would be great, and probably less of the double big stuff. But Man, shout out Tyrese Haliburton, who's just been so awesome in the playoffs. He's been a joy to watch, and it was cool to watch him adjust throughout this game and adapt to what the Pacers needed him to be, and him being that to the best of his ability.